I knew something was wrong the moment Mia screamed, "Stop tracking me like I'm your prisoner!" Because I hadn't tracked her at all. We were standing in our apartment kitchen at 11:47 p.m., her coat still on, her hair damp from rain, and her phone buzzing non-stop on the counter. I had only asked why she said she was at her sister's when her location showed downtown. Before I could explain, the phone rang again. The name on the screen wasn't saved, just a number. Mia went pale, and seconds later, that call exposed everything. Mia and I had been married for 4 years, together for 7. We weren't rich, but we had built a decent life in a 2-bedroom apartment near the train station. I worked as a logistics manager, leaving home at 7:20 every morning, while she worked remotely as a marketing coordinator. Our routines were simple. Coffee at 6:50, grocery shopping on Fridays, movie night every Sunday. People always said we looked stable. Mia used to joke, "We're boring, but in a good way." I believed that. Stability felt like love to me. The location sharing started 2 years earlier after Mia's car broke down outside a closed petrol station at night. She was terrified, and after I picked her up, she said, "Let's just keep locations on. It makes me feel safer." I never checked it unless she was late or asked me to. She checked mine too, mostly to see if I was near the store. It wasn't control. It was convenience. At least, that's what I thought. So when she suddenly started calling it tracking, the word hit me like a slap. Things changed slowly, which made it easier to ignore. First, she started keeping her phone face down. Then she added a passcode, even though she used to say passwords were annoying. She began taking client calls from the balcony, even in cold weather. Her gym sessions stretched from 40 minutes to almost 2 hours, though her gym bag never smelled like she had worked out. When I asked, she laughed and said, "You're overthinking again." I wanted to believe her because doubting your wife feels like poisoning your own home. The first real clue came on a Thursday night in March. Mia told me she was going to dinner with her sister, Alina, at a small Italian place across town. At 9:15, I texted, "Need me to pick you up?" She replied, "No, we're just paying." 10 minutes later, Alina posted an Instagram story from her couch, watching a drama with her cat. I stared at it like an idiot. When Mia came home, I asked casually, "How was Alina?" She barely blinked. "Good. Tired." Why? That calm lie scared me. After that, I noticed everything. Receipts disappeared from her purse. She started wearing a perfume I had never bought her. On April 6th, our joint account showed a $168 charge at a hotel bar called the Marlowe, even though she said she was at a late workshop. When I asked about it, she snapped, "It was a team thing. Why are you auditing me?" I backed off because I hated arguments. But that night, while she slept, her phone lit up with a message preview. Tonight was risky, but worth it. I didn't touch her phone. I just sat there in the dark, feeling stupid and sick. The next morning, I asked if everything was okay between us. Mia poured coffee without looking at me and said, "You've been weird lately." I said, "I feel like you're hiding something." She sighed like I was exhausting her. I'm allowed to have privacy. That sentence became her shield. Anytime I asked where she had been, privacy. Anytime I noticed a change, insecurity. Somehow, my questions became the problem, and her secrets became boundaries. The week everything broke, Mia told me she was spending Friday night at Alina's because they were planning a surprise birthday brunch for their mother. She packed a small overnight bag, which felt excessive for one night 10 miles away. At 8:32 p.m., she texted, "Phone battery low. Don't worry." At 10:05, I got a message from Alina asking, "Is Mia with you?" "She's not answering." My stomach dropped. I replied, "She said she's at your place." Alina sent back, "No, I haven't seen her all week." I opened the location app with shaking hands. Mia's that wasn't at Alina's. It was downtown, sitting on the same block as the Marlowe. I didn't drive there to catch her. I drove because I needed the lie to stop living in my head. The rain was heavy, and I remember the wipers squeaking like they were warning me. At 11:19, her dots started moving. By 11:43, she walked into our apartment, drenched and furious, as if she had rehearsed the anger. "Why were you tracking me?" she shouted. I said, You asked me to keep location sharing on. She slammed her keys down. Stop tracking me like I'm your prisoner. Her voice was so loud our downstairs neighbor knocked once on the ceiling. I stayed calm, which made her angrier. Mia, Alina texted me. She said you weren't there. For half a second, her face cracked. Then she recovered. So now you're checking with my family too? Before I could answer, her phone rang. The number flashed again. She grabbed for it, but I had already seen the message preview underneath. The preview said, Mia, answer. My wife knows. She's calling your husband next. Mia froze. The phone kept ringing between us like a bomb. I answered it on speaker before she could stop me. A woman's voice said, Is this Daniel? My name is Rachel. My husband, Evan, has been seeing your wife for months. Mia whispered, Don't. Rachel continued, voice trembling. I found hotel receipts, pictures, everything. They were together tonight. I'm sorry, but you deserve to know. The twist was worse than cheating. Evan was Mia's biggest client. Mia collapsed into a chair and finally stopped performing. She admitted it started in January after a client dinner. At first, she claimed it was emotional, then admitted they had been meeting at the Marlowe and sometimes at his rented apartment. She said, I didn't know how to end it. I asked, So you made me feel crazy instead? She cried harder at that than at the affair. Rachel sent screenshots, dates, and receipts. There was no mystery left. The woman I loved hadn't just betrayed me. She had trained me to doubt myself. I slept on the couch that night, though sleep never came. By morning, Mia was begging. We can fix this. I'll quit the account. I'll block him. But every promise sounded late and cheap. I called my brother, then a lawyer my coworker recommended. By Monday, I moved into a short-term rental costing $1,350 a month. Money I hated spending but needed for peace. Mia told our families I abandoned the marriage. Alina corrected her immediately. Rachel filed for divorce too, and Evan's company opened an internal investigation into the client relationship. The consequences came fast. Mia lost her job after the agency found out she had hidden the relationship with a client and used company trips to meet him. Evan's wife sent evidence to his employer, and he was removed from the account. Mia emailed me a long apology 2 weeks later. I hated myself, so I made you the villain, she wrote. That line stayed with me. I didn't hate her, but I didn't rescue her either. I filed for divorce in May. We split the furniture, closed the joint account, and only spoke through lawyers. 6 months later, I still catch myself checking my phone when it buzzes late at night. Healing isn't dramatic. It's quiet. It's making coffee for one person and not wondering why someone is smiling at a screen. I learned that trust doesn't die only when someone cheats. Sometimes it dies when they punish you for noticing the truth. Mia wanted me to believe I was controlling, insecure, and paranoid. But one phone call proved I wasn't crazy. I was just married to someone who needed my silence to keep her lie alive.